Well, they did it. The Senate has officially passed President Trump's sweeping one big beautiful bill. And this was after an all-night voting marathon and I'd want to say dramatic 51 to 50 tally with Vice President J.D. Vance casting the tie-breaking vote. And I think for all of us, it was just a matter of formality, really. I mean, we all knew this was going to happen. But there's been one major, or I should say there is one major takeaway of the bill, and that's that healthcare, Medicare in particular, may never be the same for millions of Americans. And let me just give you a quick breakdown, and then I'm going to dive into the to exactly how this is going to affect all of us, everyone out there, whether you're getting Medicaid or Medicare or you're on some private insurance plan. This is going to affect all of us. So don't think that it won't. But let me give you just a quick breakdown. First of all, the bill is tax cuts. They've been extended. It continues Trump's 2017 tax cuts. It includes a no tax on tips provision. I've talked about that before. I'm not going to go into it here again, but it's not what you think it should be or what was promised. Also, it includes social program overhauls, which is what we're going to be talking about. The bill makes some deep cuts to Medicaid and the SNAP programs, though some states like Alaska, like Senator Murkowski, they received carve-outs that happened after some tense negotiations, some maybe arm twisting or maybe a little bit of blackmail there, whatever you want to call it. There's also border and military spending included. It boosts funding for immigration enforcement in the military. The debt ceiling's been raised. The bill raises the federal deficit the ceiling by $5 trillion, and so much for fiscal discipline. I know a lot of us have just been paying attention to this whole thing. It's kind of a, I don't know, I don't want to say a mess, but it really is some very difficult times ahead for lots of folks out there when it comes to healthcare. But the legislation, it now heads back to the House, where the Republicans are going to be racing to finalize it before the self-imposed July 4th deadline. Although I just saw this morning that President Trump is saying maybe that can be extended. We'll see. We'll see. But it's been set at July 4th. That's what we've been all told it would be. But one of the most misunderstood parts of this bill is what it actually does to Medicaid. So I really hope that you'll listen, because it really makes some deep cuts to Medicaid. And as I said in the opening, it's going to affect all of us here. And the headlines, yeah, I know they've been focused on the tax cuts, of the debt ceiling, our military funding. But the real story, and the one that does affect millions of older Americans, working families, and the vulnerable communities out there, is buried in the fine print. And it's sad to say I spent a lot of valuable time on the fine print, which yeah, it's sad to say, but it's important to know, at least for me, to understand what's going on. So let's take a little bit of a closer look. And the idea is, I want to say this, and the idea that these cuts only target people that are gaming the system, well, that's not accurate. It's not the truth. The truth is the bill changes could impact, and I think they will impact, every Medicaid recipient in a state, in the state, in your state. That includes hardworking families. It includes seniors, as I mentioned. It includes people with disabilities. But let me tell you why that's true. The bill puts the bill puts strict caps on federal Medicaid funding, and it uses either a per capita limits or block grants. I'm going to explain that to you. And it really just means that a state gets a fixed amount of money, no matter how many people need care, no matter how much health care costs rise. They get a fixed amount. Think about your budget. If you get a fixed amount and then maybe your car needs repair, or maybe the air conditioning unit needs to be replaced, or maybe you just need to put food on the table for whatever reason, your costs are going up. So yeah, that food goes up. The food costs go up. So the states, they get a fixed amount of money. So if more people enroll, or if costs do go up, well, states may have to cut benefits. They may have to limit services, or they may have to reduce the number of doctors who accept Medicaid. And think about that. When I first looked at that and researched it, I thought limit the number of doctors who can accept Medicaid. So what does that mean? Longer waiting time in a wait room, a longer drive to find the doctor that accepts Medicaid? And this hits everyone on the program, not just a few of the bad actors, the people that maybe were gaming the system. But let's take Alaska. Let me just give you Alaska because this really bothers me. And I'll give you this as an example. Senator Lisa Murkowski, the fighter up for the free. Yeah, the fighter. Well, she isn't fighting for all of us. She's fighting for just a narrow group. She's pushing for a carve out to protect all Medicaid recipients in her state. And why is she doing that? Because nearly 40% of Alaska's children and 24% of adults rely on Medicaid. And these cuts could close rural hospitals, shrink nursing home capacity, and cut essential care across the board for all of us. And she recognizes this, so she demanded a cutout. She twisted arms, maybe did a little blackmail, whatever you want to call it. But that's what she did. And let's be honest, the focus on work requirements that we hear about, I heard about it from a relative, one of my relatives, a close relative. When I talked to her about this, she says, well, what about work requirements? I think that they should have work requirements. What about the undocumented immigrants who are getting Medicaid? Well, this is a distraction that we've been told because the truth is work requirements mainly apply to non-disabled adults who are already a small percentage of Medicaid users. Plus, research shows these rules often remove eligible people who simply get tangled in the paperwork. They just get tangled up in the paperwork, and quite frankly, that would be me. That would be me. Got to do this now every 6 months once this passes. And there are some restrictions, there are some rules, but you know what? You could get tangled in the paperwork. I think any one of us could. Now, as for undocumented immigrants, they've long been banned from Medicaid, except for limited emergency care. And if rather than taking this big, huge, hacksaw or chainsaw, as Musk so famously did, why not do a scalpel? If there are undocumented immigrants getting this on this program, let's take a scalpel. Let's not just do this so that it affects all of us. All of us are being affected. Now, the real issue, to me, if I can just condense this down or distill this down, is the funding cuts that they're aimed at the heart of the program. And leaders like Murkowski, Senator Murkowski, they know that. She knows that she's working to shield her entire state from the damage because she knows these cuts affect everyone. And if she's sounding the alarm, maybe we should all be paying closer attention because she is sounding the alarm. Now, what I'm going to do going forward, speaking of sounding the alarm, I'm going to keep you updated on Medicaid. I'm going to keep you updated on what's going on. I've got other videos on this channel, Over 50 TV, where I talk about starting a side hustle, finding other ways to earn money, because I know we can't count on these social programs. And I know that the safety nets aren't so safe anymore. So I encourage folks to do that. But in the meantime, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to Over 50 TV. And I'm also going to ask you to subscribe to my Side Hustle Rules YouTube channel if you want to learn how to earn money on the side. And speaking of earning money on the side, you're also going to want to check the links in this video's description because I got some links there that can help you to earn more money. And you're going to need it. We're all going to need it because this bill, this big, beautiful bill, this great, big, beautiful bill isn't so beautiful. It's not so beneficial to most folks out there. It's not so beneficial. So don't buy into some of the stuff that we've been hearing that there are people gaming the system or immigrants are milking the Medicaid budget. No. It's not true. If you do research, if you want to follow up, send me an email. I'll send you some information on it. But for right now, let me say this. I will keep you updated. I'll keep you updated. I'll let you know what's going on. So follow Over 50 TV, subscribe. Also, as I said, subscribe to my Side Hustle Rules YouTube channel. That's all I got for you, my friends. I'm going to go ahead and click out of this for us right now. But all I can say is have a great day, everybody.